In the meantime, I'll just kind of ramble, talk about myself until anybody chimes with any kind of question. Tyler Douthit, what I consider a Z-list internet celebrity. About 28,000 followers across the various social media channels. Bigger than many, smaller than many as well. SMS campaign, okay, like text campaign. It's hard because people guard that very very carefully. There are so many things people will give out before they'll be willing to give out a cell phone number because they never change it, and it's you can unsubscribe and you can do these things, but people really guard those closely, myself included. I'm really ever hesitant to sign up for one of those because you're always afraid they're going to start spamming you all the time, and it's harder if you get in that cycle because you can't change like everything else changed. People hold the numbers now with number porting forever if they can because it's less of a hassle. A database, I don't know where you're located at. I know there's laws in the states to help protect against that because many people still get charges per text message, and it's like a double opt-in where they have to go in. If you're in a different country, I'm not an expert on that, so you'd have to be careful because they might put it in as a spamming if they start getting complaints. Yeah, South Africa, I'm not an expert on South Africa. Here in the States, they have a lot of rules to kind of guard what can be done over the text messaging marketing. But I'd say in general, it works pretty well. People will read them because people get lots and lots of emails and they'll delete a bunch, or they'll just skim through them or delete them not even looking at them. People will read a text message. They might not respond to it, but they will read it, I think. Because I get ones, it's always like give this in, get a coupon code or something when people sign up. I'll read it. Beyond that is content, and if you're offering something of value, but I think people will read it, so you at least get one chance at eyeballs before anything else happens. So, and if you have any further questions, I'll keep on chiming in here. Few people have access to internet. Hey there, MW Perfumes. Yeah, that's a good point because the internet is pretty important with a lot of the marketing stuff, whether it's email especially. And hey there, Spencer Jacks. So if anybody has any questions, it's pretty much all Q&A, free form. I don't have anything particular to say, but there was a downtime here of the day and just going as we can here. Again, Tyler Douthit, I'm one of the largest earbud sellers in the country of the United States where I'm at, and sell about 50,000 earbuds a week. And looking to expand, been expanding into Canada. That's been going pretty well. Looking to expand into Europe on the Amazon market. Lots of paperwork, lots of tax things and VAT that people have to deal with. It's a little bit new to me, so that's been a slow learning curve getting into that. But I'm working on that, and that should be pretty good, I think, as it goes. Still, you need earbuds? Well, good to hear that. Hey there, themed girl. And to be honest, to get to South Africa, unless because I deal really highly in bulk, people that need a bunch, yeah, go ahead and DM me whenever you want. Please DM. I'll answer every single one. Hey there, Cameron. But if you're going to buy earbuds, something like South Africa, for one, just buy it, whatever your local thing is. I deal a lot in bulk, people that need like 100 at a time or more, schools, libraries, museums, things of that nature. So I work really well in bulk, but if you're looking a single individual, there might not be that much of a need to buy 100 pairs of earbuds. So any further questions, I'll be happy to do. Also do some intellectual property investing, a little involved in house flipping, mostly from the finance aspect at this point because of the schedule of the grind. Because in addition to the earbud business that pretty much pays for everything, I also do the personal brand, which only costs money for me and doesn't bring in anything at this point. Maybe eventually some will. There's a question. How long have you sold the earbuds? I've been into it for about two and a half years. About a year and a half ago is really when it started moving a lot, and I got really involved with schools directly and Amazon Prime and all that. And so about a year and a half ago is really when probably about 2 years ago is when it took off. About 2.5 I started seriously, and about a year and a half ago is when I started, when I went full time. When I went full time to start really focusing on that and executing the vision of every earbud for every school. And then there's so many markets to permeate into with schools and airlines, museums, the tour lines, and it's a constant constant growth curve, managing the inventory, which is tricky, the capital to get the inventory, trying to allocate that in a smart manner. Just a constant thing. Until there's any more questions, I also got one of my wife's four brothers here. He works with me, does a lot of the packing. You can tell by how tight his shirt sleeves are. He's got a lot bigger muscles than I do. He's not as comfortable yet on the talking as I am. I can remember one of the first times doing the live things, and you get nervous at first like anything else, but after a few times it becomes normal, and then people come and go and you do what you do. So any further questions from anybody, be happy to answer. Got a little more time here. Let's see, 11:55 a.m. here. This is the Midwest of the United States. I'm guessing different countries out there. Let's see, NY, so that could be New York, organized cabs, who knows. But hey, hi everybody there coming in from wherever you're at. Good to see you today. Thank you for following, for watching, for consuming any of my content. I really appreciate it. I would love to provide any kind of value I can to you today, so please, you have me directly here. Any question about anything, me, what you're interested in, I would be happy to answer. This one, do you have microphones on your earbuds? I have one line with microphones in there. I didn't at first, and that was kind of a supply, consumer request kind of thing. People were asking once in a while about microphones in there, so I did get ones with earbuds with microphones in there as well. So to answer your question, yes, I do. Would you take up daily blogs like Casey? I would take up a daily vlog. Absolutely. The daily blog, I'm not so sure, but a daily vlog, definitely. Because it's so cheap and easy and accessible. Everybody already has a smartphone, HD camera in their pocket, easy to post across all the channels. Again, free, Facebook, YouTube, etc. And I would definitely do it. And like what I do with Instagram, which I use for my vlog, the TD Grind, which documents my journey every day, day after day. Almost, I think, when I say about 80 episodes in. And you can find that on all the various channels, including Instagram. You guys might have already seen or been exposed to it. But I would definitely suggest it. If it's an interesting story. Not everyone has an interesting story. That's just to be honest. Some more than others. I think mine is interesting to some. Others probably not. And all you can do is just put it out there and see what happens. If you do the vlog, I would definitely strongly suggest to be genuine. Don't fake it. Just tell it how it is. Be you. Don't try to show pictures of Lamborghinis and Ferraris and mansions, because people are going to see through that eventually, and by the time they see through it, when you want to capitalize on it, then they will know that you were faking the whole time, and you will have lost the integrity to capitalize on that. That's why I purposefully, because I don't play long-term, I play super long-term, so I would absolutely be authentic and be yourself, because if you're going to be yourself long-term and have any success in that term as a personal brand, you got to be yourself, because if people start seeing how you're changing over the years and being a whole lot different, then you would ultimately lose some interest and some credibility down that road. So I definitely would vlog across as many channels as possible. I would say all of them, really, but as many as possible. Put a vlog out every day and just keep going from there. Be genuine, post every day, and do it all the time. And it might take a long time, to be honest. Like I said earlier, the personal brand doesn't really make me any money at this point. It's been a long-term play, knowing that it might take months, years to really be able to capitalize on it as the following slowly increases, and things I say might gain traction along the way. Hey there, call me Pierce. I might be able to capitalize on it someday, maybe never, maybe eventually. But even without that, to think about my kids, my grandkids, they could view this vlog someday. Like, you think how cool it would be to see your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents on their journey in business or life, or whatever the case may be that you want to document on your journey. It's really incredible to think that when my kids are older, they can show their kids, oh, this was my dad when he was 34, running an earbud business. That's interesting to me, to have that kind of documented journey, because people like reading old journals. This is even cooler because you can see and hear right from the person what it is they've been doing, what they have experienced. And you yourself can look back on it sometimes too, maybe 10, 20, 30, 50 years down the road. I'll probably live to be in my 80s. So 50 years from now, I could look back and think, man, I was a handsome young man then, and think all the stuff that I overcame and had to challenge, and that panned out really great, that really sucked. I worried too much about that and didn't worry enough about that. It's a really fascinating documented story. People have done journals for a long time, and this is just another version of having a journal. Or any other, that was a long rant there. Let's see, okay, awesome. So the vlogs, thanks for supporting my, thanks. All right, everybody coming in. Again, any further questions, I'd be happy to answer anything that comes in. Let's see, Tyler Douthit. I'm pretty active. I would definitely recommend, if you're looking to be anything with a personal brand or even a business, post as many accounts online, the social media type accounts, as many as possible, as often as possible, really. So your LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, what have I not hit? YouTube. I think that's about all of them. And even smaller ones that are up and coming, you want to keep an eye on too, because you never know who's going to see what where and what that might trigger in the future. I might do a vlog or my series of car talks for a year, 2 years, 5 years, and then somebody of some really interesting value to me sees it and realize there's might be something in those that he sees, and then, or she sees, and that could be really work to my advantage some year, maybe not. Either way, I'm going to keep doing it. Future pro boxer, businessman here. Thank you for the love, pro boxer. I don't know much about boxing. Ben might know more about boxing. What's going on now? There's that, was it Floyd Mayweather and what's his name? Conor McGregor.
MMA fighter.
That's right. I know that's a big boxing thing kind of circling around. They both seem extra cocky, but I think that's what you have to be when you're kind of in those areas of sports. McGregor, that's right, yeah. So who knows? I don't know a whole lot about that, to be honest. If there's anything pertaining, I would love to bring anybody any more value. McGregor has it, I guess. Is there a date set? Do you know? Is there?
I think it's like August 25th or 26th.
Oh, it's pretty close. So like maybe a little over a month away.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he has to wear boxing shoes. Oh, and it's a better fight. Well, who knows? I could talk about that. I don't know much about it. Yeah, there it is, August 26th. Like I said, I don't talk much about things I don't know a whole lot about. My boxing is limited to what I see.
We'll probably order the fight.
Order the fight?
He'll pay for it.
I'll pay for it, I guess we'll see, huh? So if anybody has, I would love to talk about anything that I know more about, provide some kind of value, any ideas with business, what might be coming up, what's my thoughts on any particular industry that I have any ideas on. Let's see, what else? Personal branding, Amazon, personal finance. I'm not bad in that area either. If anybody has anything to ask, I'd be happy to answer any question from anybody, to bring anybody some kind of value, else I'm just forced to rant to avoid the awkward silence, or talk about things I don't know, or make Ben feel uncomfortable talking on camera. So, let's see, there's one. How would I go about wanting to start a clothing line for boxing or contact sports? Let's see, clothing lines, my opinion, a pretty cutthroat industry.
Yeah, it's a tough.
Yeah, there's a lot of competition. I guess my thoughts on clothing in general. It's hard to break into if you don't have something really unique going for you. So if someone's what might make them buy something from your clothing line versus someone else's that's already going to be cheaper and more readily available. So either going to have a better story, better product, better price, some really quote cool person that might draw attention to it, but you got to have something to offer because they're already getting it, because you're not going to create any more need for clothing or for sports or anything. Let's just be realistic. We're not going to create any more need for anything. So all you can do is try to cut out your own little piece of an existing pie, and people that are already going to buy clothes for contact sports, they're going to have to be able to want to find you, which means they might have heard of you, or you got to have some smart marketing along the way. But then why are they going to get it from you? Because I'm sure that the clothing, the dominant clothing people already have cooler celebrities promoting their things, and can get lower prices than all of us. So make sure you distinguish yourself. The phrase they call is a unique selling proposition, to make sure something that stands out to draw someone to you versus someone else that they've already heard of. So that's my only suggestion. I don't know a whole lot about clothing, but I know that none of us are going to create a demand for clothing. So all we can do is take a piece of that pie. What would your advice be for a 17-year-old when building his first business? Yeah, not long ago I was 17. Let's see, we've got a little bit of time left here. Maybe about half my life ago, 17. Let's see, what would I say? Finding the product is by far the hardest part. A product that you can be competitive in. I would definitely, once you get an idea for a product, check it around. I would start probably on Amazon and see if that product exists, what kind of competition there is, the kind of prices that it sells for. If there's one listing, 100 listings, and for each listing, one seller or 100 sellers, because that can help you assess the competition. Because of course, the less competition, the better chance you have of getting a realistic return on that kind of investment and decent sales going forward. Because if it's super cutthroat already, you're going to be operating on razor thin margins, and it's hard to keep going on a business on razor thin margins. But the product is by far the biggest thing, and once you can find a product, the rest is more executable than that. But in the same way, let's see. But Amazon's where I would start, and if you get it big enough going from there, you could kind of start your own site and hope to siphon some off from there. But it's hard to compete against Amazon. You're almost better going with Amazon because they're a pretty powerful group to be involved with. See, I want to be a mechanic at my school, but in England does not have any GCSE work for doing that. I'm not exactly sure what that GCSE means. Does that mean that there aren't any classes for it available? I'm guessing that's what that means. So I'm going to go forward with that. If there are any classes for what you want to do. Oh, what are you going to say, Ben?
I have no idea. Good schools available? I don't know. I have no idea what that means.
I would probably, if there aren't classes there, I'm sure there are classes somewhere, and I would from there. It's hard to go all in sometimes on something. I know lots of people is like work for the future when you leave. I think I understand.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of times you have to do one to get the other. You might have to get a job at a restaurant as a server or a waiter or some other kind of job that will allow you to work on what you really care about. Because the reality is that we all need money in some form, especially if you want to go to some kind of school or class or course to get some sort of knowledge or training that you want. They all cost money, so you have to do other things along the way oftentimes until you can really pursue your passion. And sometimes you can pursue your passion in the off time, because we live in a time where you can use your phone or your computer in the off hours at night. So instead of watching House of Cards for like 6 hours straight, you can contact people and work on stuff on your phone oftentimes at that same amount of time, which is something we couldn't do a long time ago. So that's interesting to think about. Let's see. Could you do a video on how to find a product? Would you use Jungle Scout? Heard of Jungle Scout? To be honest, I don't really know what it is. I've heard people talk about it sometimes. Sometimes the best value, which is an old thing. This is not anything new, but you can buy in bulk somewhere and then piece it up and sell it for lower amounts, which is what I do, which is what a lot of people do. So the volume definitely has to do with it. There's a couple sites like Alibaba. A lot of you guys might have heard of them, might not have, but Alibaba, I would check them. AliExpress, that's the same company, but more of instead of having to like deal and negotiate with manufacturers, it's just a set price for something. So I would check AliExpress. They have pretty good payment protection, like an escrow type service where you order and then once you're satisfied, it releases the funds. So you're not caught in a middle ground of ordering a bunch of crap that sucks and then you're stuck paying for it. It helps, not cures, but helps mitigate that. Alibaba. Another place which I don't use anymore but used to use, called dhgate.com. That's like a David Henry, and then gate, like a open and close, gate.com. There, I had better luck there for many things I used to sell than Alibaba, so I definitely check that out. It is hard to find products because there's so many tens of hundreds of thousands of products on these sites, so it's hard. There's no way around that. I'd probably start somewhere of what you're interested in or what's around you in life. It's kind of what moved me into certain things that I sell now and used to sell. A lot of stuff I've phased off over the years as the earbud stuff has really grown. But those are my suggestions for finding a product. Anybody else got anything to ask, to comment? Anything about me? Anything about one of my wife's 4 brothers, Ben? Anything about, let's see, you're very welcome. Glad I could help. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. Let's see, anybody got one thing too? A self-plug while I got downtime until the next question comes up. I'm across all the channels. I got a daily vlog I mentioned earlier called the TD Grind. You'll see that across all the social media channels. Tyler Douthit. I've also got a series of car talks, which by the numbers and view counts and vanity metrics like that are a little more popular. Those are also across all the social media channels. You can look up Tyler Douthit on YouTube, Facebook, on Snapchat it's Tyler Douthit the number 1. You can watch the daily grind on there. On Instagram you're already here, so you know it's under Tyler Douthit. Anything further? I almost got to wrap it up. I can take one more question if anybody has time to get one in before I've got to go. So please, if you've been sitting there waiting and thinking about asking a question, now is the right time to do it. So I'll be happy to answer one more. If anybody comes in, let's see. Yeah, because it shows you the view count, but it doesn't show you who's talked or who hasn't talked. And so got a couple in here. So I get time for one more question. Anything Amazon? My thoughts on an industry. My thoughts on a particular business, or I'd be happy to talk about anything that I think I know a little bit about. If I don't, then I might not, but we'll only be able to tell from there. So, any more questions? Any more not? Any? I know it's hard because you got to type on because Instagram is so mobile first that it's all you can't type out super fast on there. One suggestion as I'm here, if you use Instagram a lot to DM people, which is a decent way to get a hold of people you want to get a hold of, you can always type with your thumb. I would also suggest, I don't know about the Android operating systems, but there's a text replacement in the keyboard option on iPhones, so you can do a shortcut of a few letters or something like that, and then it'll put like a whole paragraph, so you can save yourself a lot of time there. Also, you can use a Bluetooth keyboard. That'll also save you a lot of time. Enable, if you're someone that can type much faster on a keyboard, which a lot of people can, then you can get your words out a whole lot faster on a Bluetooth keyboard. That was a side note. But so if you come in here, please Q&A. I got time for one more question. Anybody got one to join? Otherwise, gonna have to call it here in a minute. But I'd be happy to answer one more question from anybody. Amazon, personal finance, driverless cars. I'm fascinated by those and how that's going to affect the world. AI, not as much. Let's see, selling websites, e-commerce, anything like that. Time's ticking away. Here's your chance. Going away. All right. Well, then I'm going to have to wrap it up here. And thank you, everybody, for watching, for chiming in, for following. Please consider following any of the channels I have on Tyler Douthit across the internet. You can just Google Tyler Douthit, see everything on there. That's probably the easiest way. Google has everything anyway. You're very welcome. And I thank you, everyone, for following. Please have a good day. Hope I provided some kind of value to you today.